Hi everyone, my name is Milda Rutsikhenova. I'm a project manager at MediaNet International Center for Journalism, and this webinar is conducted in the frames of our project Communicating Climate in Central Asia, is realized together with n-ost. In Germany, my colleague Ira Panidelnik, she couldn't join today, so I'm replacing her. I also wanted to tell that we have grant opportunities for publications in frames of our project. Also, if you want to join our communicators network for Eastern Europe, Caucasus, and Central Asia, you're welcome. I can share the form. There we have communicators, journalists, and experts from Central Asia and from our region, Eastern Europe and Caucasus. And today's workshop is on climate OSINT tools, is delivered by Ayfana Shaidar. She is a representative of Bellingcat. If you have questions, you can raise your hands or you can just write in the chat after the Ayfana's presentation. I will give you a floor. Thank you so much. Ayfana, please.
Thank you, Milda. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been great connecting with n-ost people. If you're not in the group, I do recommend joining it. So yeah, as Milda said, I'm an investigative journalist. I work at Bellingcat and have focused on different investigations, from war crimes to corruption to far-right and etc. This year, I'm getting more into environment research, and hence I got connected, luckily, with Irina and Muldir, and they've been a great help, connecting to other journalists in that sphere. So today I have a presentation for you on how to research wildfires. I hope you can hear me well, and here is my presentation. So the question here is how to research wildfires, what tools can you use, what methods, and I'll be giving you some case studies from my previous investigations. So when researching wildfires, I think the main tool for me is using satellite imagery. Because wildfires, they're usually big. They take up, they can take up kilometers, hectares, and that's why you can see them from the satellites. So in general, with the satellite imagery, it is a very, very vital part of our digital investigative work at Bellingcat. We use it for tracking environmental stories. It may be floods, it may be fires, but also conflict stories. So if a big conflict breaks out, if residential houses are destroyed, satellite imagery is perfect. But also for other stuff too, like geolocation, for geolocating images and videos that we often do in our work. And satellite imagery is great because it acts as a verification and analysis tool. So we can confirm that yes, there was fire at that time. Yes, a conflict broke out here and it led to, dozens of houses being burned down and other things. Sometimes it can be the only reference source. So you might hear that, there was a huge fire in this remote forest in Kazakhstan, and there is no proof for it except the satellite imagery. And in this case, yes, it's again acts as a vital part of our research. One thing to know about satellite imagery is that there are a lot of them available for free or for money, and they're scattered among the across the internet. So there are different satellite providers, there are different platforms that share the satellites with you. And the trade-off usually is between price, quantity, and quality. Okay, so you might find an image of an Almaty for every day, but the quality is very low. Or you might find an image from Almaty from 10 years ago, and the quality will be top notch. So usually you have to juggle through those. And if you can pay, you can buy almost a high quality satellite image almost from anywhere in the world, from almost any time. So these are the things. And when we talk about the quality of the satellite images, this is what we mean. So the resolution is different. So here's the images of the same place of a stadium, and the images taken by different satellites. So on the bottom right, like you can see the most crisp. You can see like even individual cars, like a lot of details. And the resolution is set to be like 0.3 meters per pixel, so 30 centimeters per pixel. So when the meters it goes down, the quality goes up, okay? Because 1 pixel represents like 30 centimeters, whereas here 1 pixel represents 250 meters, and you cannot really see the stadium at all. So that's what it means. Usually, like if you've worked with satellite images with Google Maps, you will see something like 0.5 or something around here where you can still make out things. But like the images there are not that frequent. And if you want a more up-to-date image, Sentinel would be your friend. So here is a Sentinel image. I'm gonna talk to you more about how to get these images. But the cool thing about Sentinel is that it takes images of places every few days. And the quality is on the lower side, as you can see, but you can still make out bigger structures. So if you're just looking at the construction of this stadium, you could be able to see it. If you're looking, if like a fire broke out here, you would probably be able to see it here. But if you want to get like to see each tree or like smaller buildings, Sentinel will not be great. But since this is a presentation on researching wildfires, like Sentinel-2 will do quite a good job. And it goes up to 250 meters where you can not see the stadium at all. But there are cases when it's useful, when there are like very big fires going around. So yeah, this is back in August this year, me and my colleague, we were looking into the fires in Portugal, and we made a short video on how to research wildfires. In September, another big fire broke out, this time in Namibia, in a national park in there. So we decided to go and research it on basically what can we find with the open sources. And we made a nice article about where we calculated the scale of the fires, where we found the source of the fire, and looked at the social media. And here I'll just go through each of them. So first thing that you can do, like if there's a big fire, you can look into the scale. And for that, again, you just look at the satellite images. In this case, we were using NASA Worldview. And you can basically like look at almost every day and see how it was spreading like quite quickly. And here are the tools for the satellite images. One note is that I can share with you the PDF versions if you email me, okay? After the presentation, I'll share with you my email. So these are the three places where I go to when I'm looking at the wildfire. Same thing will be with the floods or another big event that can be seen from the satellite. So first of all is Copernicus browser. They use Sentinel satellites and they have images from every few days. They also have nice bands when you can apply like this filter thing, kind of like a thing. And the resolution is medium, like it's good enough. Then we have NASA Worldview. They take images every single day, even like multiple times a day. So this is perfect for, again, tracking a big wildfire, but the resolution is very, very low. I think it goes to like 200 meters per pixel. So it is perfect only if you're looking at the very big wildfires. The last one is Planet. Planet, this one is a paid tool. So NASA and Copernicus, both are free, but Planet one is paid, quite pricey, but you get images for every day, every few days, and the resolution is quite good at 3 meters per pixel. So now let's jump into NASA Worldview. So let me show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. You'll see a whole Earth. You can also see this black spots in between, right? And why do you see them? Is because the satellite is going this way, so from top to bottom or the opposite, and then it just goes this way and captures like images on its way, like up or down. And when it goes this way, it just doesn't have enough like area to capture, I guess, that this one gets dark, yeah. So if I look at that another day, you can see they change slightly a little bit. Okay, so if you're researching this part, then yeah, not really great about the September 22nd. So this is what it looks like. On the top right, you can search for places. You can use the coordinates, the Etosha National Park, if it finds it. It's usually not great with places. It can give you countries easily. So if you have a specific place, I'd suggest just using coordinates. So I'm going to go to Namibia. This is Namibia. And looks like nowadays, but you can also go really back in time and see historical images. So a huge fire broke out in Namibia in September, and you can track it using NASA World View. So here, like 22nd of September, 21st of September, 20th of September, like everything is fine. But then on the 23rd September, you can see this black patch. Again, if I go back, there's nothing. Next day, there's a big black patch, okay? And if I zoom in, there's also some smoke coming out of here. So it means that something is burning right there. And I go to the next day. So it was 23rd. I'm going to the 24th. And you can see the fire has increased. Okay, so again, I'm going back. 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Okay, so this way you can see how rapidly the fire was spreading. And yeah, this is a nice image, the most high quality. You can see on the 30th of November, it looked like this. 34th, or the 1st of October, there's a very slight change only in these parts. Okay, so the fire hasn't stopped, but the speed has definitely went down. Okay, and on the October 7th, after October 7th, there is much change. So we can like say like at October 7th, on October 7th, the fire has finally stopped. Okay. So why is this interesting? So first of all, you can calculate the scale of it. So maybe from the satellite, you cannot really see like, well, is it that big or is it not that big? So one thing that helps on the right, you have this measuring area. And yeah, you can just start building it. You can obviously do it much more detailed, but I'm going to do this way. And from here, you know that an area of over 7,000 kilometers has been burned. Okay. So yeah, this is one thing that you can do. And you can also do it for every day and basically say that, yep, it started very small with this many kilometers and it progressed to this huge fire. Why that would be interesting? Again, first of all, you would see the scale, the visual information of the destruction that went here. And then you can also basically see that it started actually very small and it took for the government quite some time to extinguish it. So in this very case, the fire started on the 22nd of September. And I think only like a week later, the government had an emergency meeting where they decided to send like extra 500 troops to extinguish the fire. And again, like using like this images, they show you that it spread quite a lot before that meeting. And the critics locally could use, these images to say like maybe the government should have acted like faster, maybe they should have sent like troops earlier and other stuff like that. So this is how it can be used. And yeah, in some cases, you can even see the smoke coming out of here. And yeah, you can know that on the 28th of September, when the satellite took this image, the fire was happening right here. On the left side, there are also different layers. So this means, I'm guessing, different satellite images. So yeah, this one is Terra Modis that I'm clicking, but I can click on Aqua Modis. And the cool thing about them, they're taking images at different times. So you can see that my 26th of September image is very cloudy. I can barely see anything. But if I click at this Aqua Modis is like satellite, then it took an image from the same day, but on a different time when it was not as cloudy. So it's like perfect. And you can see the other ones. And yeah, this one is the least quality, but again, you can just click around and find the one that has the least amount of the clouds. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Again, you can do it for any other parts. Let me get rid of this. I am going to share it with you in the chat so you can play around with it. Okay, I've sent it in the chat. So if you're on your computer, I think it might also work on your phone. So just click around, go back to the left and basically observe when the fire started. I'm going to send you an updated. Okay, look at the last link, okay? The one that shows you a better quality image. And just click around and take a second to see how it works. So basically, if you click on the calendar, go to the left, go to the right, you'll see how it spreads. Okay, I'm going to give you like 30 seconds for that. And if there are any questions regarding NASA Worldview, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Okay, let's continue. Let me give you the last example. I'm going to look in Portugal that had very large fires this summer. So here's Portugal, and they had very bad fires in August. So here I'm clicking on August 26th. I can see something here. I'm guessing it is smoke from a fire, but in this case, also be careful. It might be just clouds that look like this. So I'm going to click on another date. So I think it started on 15th. So here, like this is a nice image. So here I'm confident that it is a smoke because it has a very distinct point of where it starts and it goes up like with the wind to the north and it gets less packed, like the smoke is thinner on the top. So from here I know on the 15th of August, like again, Portugal had very big fires and you can see all the spots that were burning there. So there's a question, is there a method for distinguishing between clouds and snow cover? I'm not sure. You could play around with radars, but I think there might be. Because on the Sentinel, I'll show you in a second, you can actually filter by clouds. So you can say like, oh, it's 30% cloud visibility, then get rid of it. So in this case, I think that's fine. So I'll get into it in a second. So anyway, like this way, you can see where the fires were happening in Portugal. So here it started. And then if you go there and if you zoom in, for example, let's go here. You can see all of this black scorched earth. Okay, so this is where you can see where the fires had happened. And if I go back, so you just know that it didn't used to be black. You can see if I go back, it used to be very normal, like very greenish. So here it's very green, but then it turns black. So you can again calculate where the fires were happening. Okay, so this is one. Another cool tool is Copernicus. So when you go there, just click anonymously. If you do log in, if you sign up, you get a little bit more features. But let me show you an example of, yeah, let's do Etosha again. Namibia. Again, I'm using this like Namibia, Portugal example, but it can be anywhere. So the method is the same for any location in the world. So here's my Namibia place. So what you need to do is click on the calendar. First, I'm gonna check September 20th, around 25th. So September 25th, I can already see the fire happening here. I'll zoom in and let's do 23rd. So one thing about the satellite images, you have to click around to see like the ones to find the images that are useful for you. So here I can only see the satellite image that's on the left, not very useful for me. So I'm gonna go on 24th. I can see it on the right, not very useful. It's not loading. It's just like you can only see this image on the right. And again, my park is here, so I need it here. So I think if I go to the 20th, so 20th, this is what the park looks like. 25th, you can see this fire here. 27th, even bigger fire, okay? So here, in comparison to NASA World View, I have less images, right? I see only like 3 images for this week that are useful, but on NASA it was every day. But here the quality is much higher. So you can actually zoom in and you can see like the water holes where the fire did not take. And then one cool thing about it is on the left, there are different layers that you can use. So by different layer, I mean, the one that's true color is the satellite images that you're used to. So this is what our eyes can see, like this is how we see the world, and this is what it processes it to. But satellites also have like infrared radars. And if you click on them, it gives you a little bit more of a story. It just highlights more the vegetation or the fires or the water and etc. So clicking different layers, you can like much better see the fire. So the one that I like using for looking into wildfires is the sphere band. So what sphere band does, it will differentiate between vegetation, so which is like this greenish color, and scorched earth. So everything that's been burned, it will be like in this reddish brownish color. And if something burning right now, it will be brighter red. So if I'm zoom in, so you can see this bright color. So when the satellite took this photo, fire was happening right this way. It is very useful because if I do the true color, it's very hard to see that something is burning right here because there is smoke. I mean, you can figure out that if there's smoke, so probably might be something happening, but sometimes you might also think, oh, maybe it's just a cloud. So this one tells you exactly where the fire is happening. So this one tells you like, here is a fire burning. And if I would choose the true color, again, the usual like image that we look at, you wouldn't tell, like it doesn't look like, yeah. So that's the thing, because when the fire is happening, you don't see like it's like in reality, you don't see it as like red from the top, because again, there's a lot of smoke under it. So again, this sphere band, it lets you see like where the fire is happening right now. It's great for the government to know. It's great for the, I know, fire emergency services to know, so where exactly the fire is happening, okay? So this is a cool thing. So I can zoom out, and then you can just compare it much easier. So this is the 27th, and again, if I compare it to the 20th, you can see like this one was completely fine. So using these bands, you can again like differentiate better like what was before and what happened after. And there are some tools here, like if you're logged in, you'll be able to do some nice videos with it, some nice comparison thingies. So that's the cool thing. So if I go back to Portugal, so remember it was a little bit difficult to see with NASA World View because you can see like it is a little bit darker, but maybe it's difficult to guess like if it was fire or it's just maybe a general the Earth is the black colored. So if I go here, you can already see like the scorched Earth. It's still visible in September. The fires happened in August, so let's see the 1st of August. So it's mostly green. There are some patches here, but again, some wildfires are very natural and they're very, like they happen and they're quite good. Yeah, they can be good for the environment as it burns the old grass and there's space for new ones. But when it's uncontrolled and takes up like too much space, again, it is not what we want. So anyway, 1st of August, like looked very green. The area is very green. And then let's do 23rd. And now we can see all the scorched earth everywhere where the fire has happened since then. So within a month. And you can see the actively burning parts too. Okay. So here it's actively burning. If I do the true color, I cannot see anything because it's cloudy, right? But again, if I do the sphere blend, I can know exactly that this is where the fire is happening. So I don't know if I was in the government, I would know that, oh, maybe people here should evacuate. Maybe we should send more people here to send them more of the firefighters here because that's where it's spreading. Okay. So that's the cool thing about Copernicus. Again, you will not get images for every day. You get it only every few days, maybe 1 in 5 days, maybe 1 in 3 days. But then the quality is much nicer than NASA's, and you have this fun bands that you can play with. Okay, any questions so far? Let's check the snow covers. So let's go to, just gonna try and look at the snow covers for now. Okay, now I'm seeing some snow and we can look at it. Okay, so here's some snow, I'm guessing, in Naren. And what I would do is I'd try using some of these bands. So here's a moisture index is nice. So what moisture index does, it looks in the moisture level of surfaces. So obviously if there's water, it will be higher in moisture. And if it's like here, just a mountain with nothing in there, like no vegetation, then it will be quite reddish. With the moisture, it can be tricky because clouds also have their moisture. So what I would do is I would click this cloud coverage. You can basically, I don't know how it does, probably it has some its own methods. It will filter through the clouds. So if you want the maximum cloud coverage be 30%, meaning that I don't want any images that have clouds in a 30% or more of the image, okay? You can make it lower and then you'll only have images that have like 16%. So that way I would differentiate between clouds and the glaciers. Hope it makes sense. Cool. Yes, so Benedetta, we can calculate the exact burn area. What you can do, if I go back to Copernicus, let me see if I can click back to the Portugal. Or let me go to the n-ost again. And September 27th. So here it is. Again, what I would do, I would use the Sverband, so I know exactly like where the burnt area is. Because again, like sometimes, as in Portugal's case, it's hard to distinguish between what's burnt and what's not. Because the earth might be brown, and then the one that's burnt, it's still brown, okay? So that's why the bands are perfect. Because again, they used infrared, and that's why it can distinguish. So how you calculate it is on the right, there is also this ruler. You can click on it. Or maybe it was this one. And then you can basically, I mean, you can like take more time and do it nicer. But if I do it really quick, I can see it's at least 5,000 kilometers were burned in this area. And of course, you can make it more detailed. So, you know, you have a better idea of how much exactly the area was burned. So again, that's how we did that calculation. Get rid of that. That's how we did that calculation of this one. That there was 300 kilometers on the first day, 1,000 on the second, and then it just accelerates until it starts going down on September 27th.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Let me look at the other questions. Is it necessary to register to work at a firm? No. So right now I'm working anonymously. So it's fine, you can do that. But the nice thing, if you do log in, is that you can make a nice videos. So you can make nice GIFs that you can embed to your website. So if I give you Bellingcat. So you can do something like this very easily. And yeah, so it will just give you the source and the dates right away. Again, if you're publishing it, it makes it so much easier and faster. Just like takes 2 minutes to do if you log in. So that's the perk of it, I'd say. But other ways, just to browse, you don't need to log in. And you can download images. So here on the right, if I click on this image, it will just download it to me. Which is quite nice. And it will download in a higher quality than what you would get if you just screenshotted it. Okay. Yes, I'll show the steps again. On the Copernicus, right, Leah? So what you do is on the right, there's a search button. Oh, let me just start it from the... So this is what you will get when you're just starting. So on the top right, there is this go-to place. You can put in cities and countries, but it's not very good with places. So for example, if I do Etosha National Park, it might not know where it is. Yeah, it just doesn't know. Oh no, it does know. But for some other places, it does know. So I'd suggest just putting a city and a country, or if you have a specific place. So let's say I need exactly this place, right? So for this facility, maybe it's, I don't know, for some reason. So what I do is I right-click it, I get coordinates. Again, this is just Google Maps. If you right-click any place on Google Maps, you'll get coordinates. And then I just paste the coordinates here. So the coordinates is great because it's universal everywhere. So I search for it and I get that location. I can zoom in on the bottom right. I'll zoom in and it's exactly the place I was looking at from Google Maps. So what do you do next to get the satellite image? You have to click on the calendar first. I click on the calendar. Yeah, let it be 6th of September. And then once I click on the 6th of September, I can see the filters on the left. So again, this is true color. Let's check the sphere. Again, what it does, it shows me the green areas from some vegetation, or you can look at the moisture index. It tells me like where's a lot of moisture, so all of these canals and water will be blue. And the places that doesn't have much moisture, which is like buildings, it will be red. Again, it's also nice to see if you're looking at a drought in a place and you can map it out and see that the moisture levels, that it's been going from, I don't know, yellowish to reddish. So from there, you know that the moisture level has been going down. So like stuff like that. So I do recommend just playing around with that. Okay. So yeah, and then you can click around and then check out other dates. Cool. And I'll answer. Oh, were you able to do it now, Le?
Yeah.
Here's the link. So again, first you need to choose the location. And second, click on the calendar. So then you should have it. Okay. I hope it worked for you, Leah, but yeah, let me know if it didn't. I'll have to like go over it. Oh, perfect. Yes, it can be sometimes tricky, or it loads quite long sometimes, because again, all of these images are for free. And if it reaches the server, it gets back to you with an image, and the images are like quite nice quality. So sometimes just let it load. Another thing is that sometimes you'll click on the coordinate, but it will not take you anywhere. So in this case, you just have to click on the thing that pops up here. Or if I do the Etosha National Park, it doesn't take me anywhere unless I click on this one. So there's these small things that you'll learn once you start playing around, and you'll figure it out. Okay, so this is quite it with Copernicus. Quite an easy tool to researching wildfires. And again, if you usually use Google Map or Google Earth Pro, with Google Maps, it's just static. You see like only one image and that's it. If you use Google Earth Pro, you can see more images, but it's not as many. So if I do Portugal, I know it's Lisbon. Even like this European capital, it doesn't get that many images. So the last image was from September, but before that it was May, February. So it gets like, here it's only 2 images for the last year. And then on Sentinel, we get 2 images per week. Okay, so that's why for the, again, bigger scale events like wildfires, it's much better to use Copernicus, I'd say. Copernicus is free, NASA is free. If you really want a higher quality image, then there's Planet. But yeah, it's quite expensive, and honestly, you don't really need it. But if you ever need it, let me know. I'll help you get access to that. It's not loading, so I'll just close it. Okay, and the last tool for today is NASA Firms. Again, I've already shown you one tool from NASA, which is NASA Worldview, like satellite images. But there's also this tool called NASA Firms. I'm going to put it in the chat. And what it does, again, it has a satellite. So this satellite, NASA Worldview, would take images of the Earth, right? And would show it to you how a person would see it. So images. So you can see trees, you can see smokes, you can see clouds. This satellite is different. This satellite, it just picks up heat bursts. So it's a radar that picks up big heat bursts. So heat bursts, what can it be? It can be, again, big wildfire. It can be from a conflict zone if the buildings are burned, or if a huge missile launcher works. So if a missile is launched, it produces so much heat that the NASA firms pick it up. It can be some industrial plant that, let's say there's a metal I know a plant that works with metals, so it has to produce lots of energy, so NASA picks it up. So anyway, once you open NASA Firms, you can see live where the fires are happening right now, okay? You can see there are a lot of fires in sub-Saharan Africa, in India, in Latin America, and if you zoom in, it looks like everything is burning, but which we do have fires a lot in the world, but if you zoom in, you'll see that they're not that huge. So here there are quite a lot of just small fires, which again can be quite natural and normal. So I zoom in, I can just see this place and some radars. Again, satellite image is just an old image, so but what we are interested in is this red squares. So red square will tell me, if I click on it, that here a fire was picked up by NASA satellite. The satellite at this coordinates, it was this bright and at this time, okay? And it can be useful for many different reasons. It can be useful to look at the conflict zones. So if I do past 7 days, I can see there has been some fire happening here, and you can see it says city. So it's not a forest where like the wildfires would be more common. So from here, I would guess that a fight happened. Again, I'm guessing a fight happened in this area of Western Ukraine in the past 7 days. So if I click it, it happened 29th of November, so a few days ago at this location. So I'm gonna just check on maps what city it is. Oh, maybe it's industrial actually. Maybe it's just a huge landfill. Okay, it could be just a huge landfill, or it could be that Alchevsk, is it far from there? No, I guess it could be. It could be a battleground that's happening right now with the Russian invasion. So when we are looking at the different conflict zones, we'll use NASA firms to quickly check where the battles are happening. I've used the same thing when looking into Tajik and Kyrgyz war. We had it for a few days, and you could see like quickly where the hotspots were, because there, like the army, the Tajik army was burning Kyrgyz houses, and some Tajik houses were also burned by Kyrgyz army. So anyway, this is how you can quickly check. Again, with this one, I'm not very sure because it could be just a huge landfill that's burning. But anyway, it gives you an idea what you can search for. And if I go back to my example of the national park. So here, for example, NASA Firms doesn't know where Etosha National Park is. So I'm just going to find it on Google Maps. Get the coordinates and then put here. So when you're doing searches, like coordinates is the best because that one is universal. So I'm actually seeing there's been a lot of fires in Etosha National Park this week. Yeah, in the past week in all of these places. So that's interesting. Anyway, let me change the date. So on the right, you can click this button and you can click a different date. So again, free and lots of historical data. I'm gonna go on 25th. So you can see there are a lot of fires near that park on the 25th. And you can just go back to 24th, 23rd, and you can basically figure out when the fire started. So on 21st, there was one like very south to the park, so it's not very relevant. But on the 23rd, so this is where the park starts. So we can see that there's a lot of fire going this way. You can click them individually. You can click them individually and you'll be able to see the dates too. So here it started at 9:53 local time and at this location. But if I go to the very bottom, this one also says 9:53. Okay, let me show you the one that's on the top. So this one says at 1:18. Okay, so this way you can see like, okay, the fire first started there, it went there. And to just quickly get an idea how it was dispersed, so you can click on this time-based. So simple is like every thing is red. But if you make it time-based, it will give you which one happened later and which one happened earlier. So the yellow is the earliest. And if I zoom in, there's one yellow button. And this one started at, oh, wait, that's it. It's a different one. Yes, so here, 15:25. So this yellow thingy, from NASA firms, we know that the fire first started in this place. And then if you go to Google, that's just to check what's in there. Let me copy the coordinates. If I zoom in, okay, what I start seeing in this area is this black dots here. So you might think, okay, these are like very weird places, but if you do some research, you'll figure out that these are the coal mine farms, not coal mine, like wood coal farms. And from there, we know that they were like, let me just show you what it looks like because I had no idea that these things exist. So this coal farming is popular in Namibia, where they turn wood into coals, and this is how it looks like. And in the satellite, it will be just these black patches. And that way, there we found that this coals were the place where the fire started from. So we know that this huge fire that covered, I don't know, like 6,000 kilometers square, it all started from this small coal farm. So probably they were farming coal, and then a little bit of fire went out of this farm, and then this chaos began. So yeah, that's it for my presentation. I gave you 3 tools today: the NASA Worldview, Copernicus, and NASA firms. And I'd say like this is quite enough to get into wildfires. And the last one I'd say is when we publish our investigation, we try to get some social media insights too. So we might find that the locals like published videos of the fires happening like here. So quite scary. Or like with the civilians helping. So what, or like of the impact of the fires on, I don't know, on buildings, on surroundings, on the locals, but in this case, on also animals. So it's a big national park that is a home for elephants. So we could see that the elephants were burned down, not burned down, like burnt and injured. And we can get these images, videos, we need to verify them that they're real and they happened from this fire, from this location. So this way we can also not only show the scale of the wildfire itself, but also the impact. So yeah, that's it. So we have 10 minutes left, and let's go for the questions. So Incha, yes.
There was one question. I think we missed it. Do you think access to satellite images are getting restricted, or the opposite for journalists?
I'd say it's the opposite. We're having more and more satellite services and a lot of government interest in making them public too. So for example, the Copernicus one, it is funded by EU and they just want to make it public. So that's good. There's a lot more for the private ones too. So Planet is there now. There is a big initiative, like there's a new satellite service that's launching soon. And what they're doing is they're launching on a very low orbit. high quality satellites to high quality camera. So I'm guessing in 5 years we'll be getting satellite images that are like 10 centimeters. And with 10 centimeters, you can like see people from the space, which is crazy. And yeah, so I'd say they're going, there's happening more. You just have to find them. So that's the thing. Or sometimes you just have to pay for them. So yeah. Any tips for detecting deforestation cases? I'd say it's the same structure. So you would still look at the satellite images. You would go to Copernicus, and there you would look into, let me just share. So with the Copernicus, let me get it. I would advise looking at the NDFVI band. So if you click this one, it's not loading to me right now. Let me go to, I don't know, I'm supposed. So yeah, this way you can see, again, these bands help you clearly see where there's vegetation. Okay, so you can see there's some vegetation, but with the NDFI, it's very, very clear where it's greener and where it's whiter. And if there's been a deforestation, you could again compare it. And for example, you had a hackathon. So we had this publication. So there is basically, the government cut down almost all the trees on the street. And here's the before and here's after. So from this, we didn't have access to a good satellite image, so we could not see like that the trees were cut down. But with this radar, you could see that it used to be greener. So if you look at this part, for example, like inside this box, it used to be green, but now it's all white. And it means like there used to be trees or like other vegetation, but now there's nothing. So that's why it's white. So this way it helps to see the difference. Again, if you had a like very high quality satellite image where you could see like individual trees, that would be perfect. But we don't often have it because again, high quality satellite images, they usually will be from the last year, they will not be up to date. Or you have to pay like $2,000 to get them. And in this case, it's like Copernicus is perfect because you can see this way. Okay. So we have a question about on a story about floods. So we actually have a presentation on how to research floods, and we'll have it on Thursday, right, Mulder?
Yes, on Thursday at the same time at 3 o'clock by Almaty. And yeah, you're invited. I hope you're registered, and we'll see you on Thursday. It's 4 o'clock, I'm sorry. I think that was the last question. If you have any more questions, you can ask Akanush on Thursday. We'll have one more presentation with her, and we'll be happy to see you again. Thank you so much. It was really interesting. I was checking myself also all the tools that you shared. Yeah. Thank you so much. I hope it will be useful for everyone who's joining and for everyone who will see the thank you for your email. We'll see the recording and have a nice evening and see you on Thursday. Bye.
Thank you so much, Mulder. Bye, everyone.